welcome back to my channel. I am back here with my friend
Tracy Beaker,
and we are here to film another Vagaggle chat. We've asked for your questions all about sex positivity and slut shaming and consent and body image and sex, and we've got loads of good ones.
Woo!
So we're just gonna answer them for you basically.
Here we go. Okay, so straight away before we talk about anything to do with sex, we need to talk about the most important thing, consent.
Was I supposed to say that at the same time?
Maybe.
Consent. Consent, most important thing about any sexual topic. Consent is full, enthusiastic permission that you give someone to engage in sexual activity.
It's very clear, you know exactly what's going on and everyone feels comfortable.
It can be withdrawn at any time, you know, consent has to be ongoing.
It's very necessary and very sexy.
Also, I think like it's sober.
Yes, that's a really important point. Being in a sober state of mind where you know what you are doing and you know what you are consenting to.
So that's the first thing about sex. Always has to be between two or more consenting adults. On to the questions.
Here we go.
Okay, so the first question we've got says, basically between the ages of 16 and 18, I used sex as a form of self-validation. My self-esteem was so low that I saw having sex as a sort of, hey, you're okay, and men don't find you repulsive. It ended up getting me into some pretty bad situations, and now I hate myself for it. I wish I could go back and tell myself I didn't need to prove my worth by having sex. This really struck a chord with me because I was very similar to this. Before I met Ben, I was quite promiscuous, and it wasn't coming from a place of empowerment. I mean, have sex with as many people as you want.
Absolutely.
But I think if that is empowering you, that's great. But if it's a form of validation, if it's something that you're seeking out to kind of reassure yourself that you're worth something, it's not the right answer. Because ultimately, no matter how many people you sleep with and no matter how many people find you attractive, that's never enough.
No.
It's never enough to fill up that gap of self-worth and validation, or at least it wasn't for me anyway.
Before we go any further, just as a disclaimer, I am a teacher of young people and young people have access to the internet. Therefore, I will not be discussing any personal sexual experiences because, well, you know, there are boundaries. And also, if you're a student of mine, stop watching.
What do you think is like a better way to find that validation besides sex?
So instead of finding it from other people, you need to obviously start looking from internally. So stop seeking external sources of validation and start looking for internal sources of validation. When you start doing that, that's when, if you are enjoying having casual sex with multiple people, it means that you can do it from a place of empowerment as opposed to a place of seeking validation.
And I think it's important as well, like you don't need to feel ashamed, like you're not a bad person.
You're not alone in doing this.
No, you're absolutely not alone. And also like you are just doing what you believed would work and what you believed was best for you.
And also what we've been taught would work.
Absolutely. Like when you live in a culture where everywhere you look you're taught that like your worth comes from how sexually appealing you are to others.
Yeah.
Obviously you fall into trying to find your validation through that.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's not your fault. You don't have to feel bad about it. If anyone's watching who is currently in that position, just do some getting to know yourself, do some digging, search, as Jodie said, search for another way to find that worth, because oh my god, you have so much worth over and above how sexually appealing you are to other people. Next question. You don't have a fan.
Oh, I do.
Where is it?
It's in my bag. Hang on.
You need the fan. It's like an iconic part of the chat now.
I've got your one that you bought me. This is my new fan. Megan bought me this one.
It's so you.
Wow. Next question. How do you keep confidence up to be naked with your partner after weight gain when he is built like a Greek god? How do I get past my fear of letting my BF touch my stomach without moving his hand or trying to cover myself up? Again, this comes a lot from finding your worth and what the media says is sexy. So obviously we are taught that there is one type of body which is sexy and is the ideal and is the desired. It just so happens that your boyfriend has that body, but that doesn't mean that your body is any less sexy because it doesn't look like what is plastered all over advertising and all over porn as well. You know, everyone finds different things sexy. You are what your boyfriend finds sexy.
Remember, he is with you. He knows what you look like. He knows how your body feels, and he wants to be with you. He wants to have sex with you. And I think, you know, the stereotype, we definitely got this a lot growing up, that you have to be smaller than your partner. Like in heterosexual relationships, the woman has to be smaller. And
so they can pick you up and shit.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, I pick Ben up on a regular basis. Not in a sexual way, just I'll put the picture up. Just to subvert that shit. That is such bullshit. That stereotype needs to go. It does not matter which one of you is bigger or smaller, or if you look like the stereotypical couple that you have in your mind. You clearly have a connection. He is clearly attracted to you. For the stomach, for getting used to him touching it, I think first you should get used to you touching it.
Yeah, you touch your own stomach.
Yes, just get used to it, touching it, appreciating how soft it is, not being rough with yourself, because actually a soft stomach is lovely to touch.
Oh, lovely.
It's so nice. It's
a delightful experience.
Touch your own stomach, touch your own body, just get used to that. And you'll realise that there's a reason why he also enjoys touching it.
Also, just on a side note, for any fat girls out there who are obviously having sex and not feeling confident about your body, if you've got to the point where you are having sex with a partner, girl, he knows you're fat. Okay, if you're fat, you're fat. It's not a bad thing. It's just a descriptor.
Yeah.
It's not something like you're gonna take your clothes off and they're like, shit, she's fat. No, you've been fat the whole time. You're gonna continue to be fat.
Yeah.
So embrace it and live with it.
So true. I was wondering what your thoughts are on being a virgin in your 20s. I'm 23 and haven't had any kind of sexual experience. I've dedicated all my time to university, and anyway, I've never found anyone I want to get sexual with. I often feel like a bit of an outsider and try my best not to let it bother me. I'm still worried though. There were quite a few questions in this bunch that were generally, I'm this old and I haven't had sex yet, I'm this old and I haven't had sex yet, and it ranged from early teens, up to 30, and I'm sure there are well beyond out there. And the answer is the same to all of them. It is never shameful to not have had sex yet.
The other important thing to remember is that virginity is literally bullshit. It doesn't mean anything unless you want it to mean something. But if you're not bothered by it, then don't be bothered by it.
The whole idea that particularly for women that your virginity makes you worth more, or that you're untouched and pure, that is patriarchal bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's just forget that, because it's not true in the slightest. You are worth no more or less, regardless of whether you are a virgin until you're 50, or if you've slept with a ton of people by the time you're 20. Absolutely not a reflection of your worth.
And if you feel like you haven't found the right person, then you haven't found the right person. The most important thing when it comes to losing your virginity is that you are comfortable with the person who you are doing it with.
Definitely. And I think it's great to wait until you find that someone who you are that comfortable with, who you have a mutual respect with, regardless of how long it takes to find that person. There is absolutely nothing wrong with waiting until you get that. Next question.
What do you think about period sex? What can I do to fully love my body while on my period? I'm not an expert in this area. Are you?
I'm not either, and it's a big ass topic. That's a whole video in itself. The basics, it's not shameful, there's nothing wrong with it, and there's loads of information out there to get a better awareness of how it goes, how to approach the topic. We're just gonna link to a video by Hannah Witton, which is really, really great.
Really good.
So much information about it. Yeah, go check it out. Period sex, not shameful.
No big deal.
How can I stay positive with all the stigma around bisexuality, especially as a young person? What are ways to feel comfortable with both men and women?
Okay, so first of all, especially as a young person, it is very difficult because a lot of people rely on the stigma of bisexuality as a phase. It's a stopping point between being fully gay. Your sexuality is completely yours to own. And, if you feel like you are being your authentic self, then you stick with that, especially as a teen, because it's such a short and difficult period of your life, I always think like the main thing is to know what you like, and then you can get the best out of your partner regardless of what they've got in between their legs.
I mean, you pretty much just you just took the whole question
Sorry.
and ran with it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add other than good for you for like knowing yourself.
Absolutely.
And knowing your sexuality.
Yeah.
Own that.
Fucking nailed that.
Fucking nailed it. Stop it.
I've been having mediocre sex for years because I never believed I was worthy enough to ask for what I want. Now I feel like it's too late to turn that around. Any tips?
It is absolutely never too late to ask for what you want out of sex. Never too late to prioritize your sexual pleasure because you're so deserving of that, regardless of who you're with.
Same as the question before, the more you know your own body and what you like, the better it will be. Better sex is all about knowing yourself and then not being afraid to open up a dialogue about that.
Take some time to explore yourself, try different things, sex toys, porn, whatever it is that you want to explore for yourself, and then whoever you're with, just open up the topic. What's like a good way?
Hey, I really like it when you touch my butt.
There is that. You could do it during. I mean, most people like to hear what you like because it's like a pretty big turn on. You don't need to be embarrassed about that.
And it goes back to consent as well. You know, if you are telling the person what you like, they can really get into it and get enthusiastic because they know that you are fully consenting because you have told them this is what you like. And it works both ways. Obviously, we're going to come from a female-centered perspective, but it works for men as well. You know, like, guys, there's nothing wrong with, you know, knocking at the back door.
But you have to ask very explicitly if you're allowed in.
Yeah, I saw this on Instagram the other day. Someone was like, if you think that straight guys don't understand consent, try putting a finger up their butt during sex. They understand.
So yeah, make sure when you are telling your partner what you like that they are giving enthusiastic consent, they are completely willing to trying it, and prioritize your pleasure. Your pleasure is important.
And if somebody doesn't believe that, then they can.
So I've just been editing this video and you all sent in so many good questions and there's just so much to talk about, and you know, me and Jolie are really good at talking, that there's too many for one video. So this is officially a two-part. So thank you for watching the first part. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, please. And yeah, subscribe if you want to be the first to hear when the second part is coming out, and I'll upload part 2 of the Vagaggle Chats sex positivity talk next week. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a really good rest of your day. Bye.